What is up, YouTube? Craig Lopez here with another Tutorialism, and today I'm going to be showing you how we can take the vocal from this track and extract it to use it on the track that I've been working on over the past few videos. So for all the subscribers who've been watching the past few videos, you know that I've been working on a new disco track from start to finish. I started with a groove, and then I did a chord progression. Last week I looked at an arrangement. This week I'm looking at fleshing out everything and adding a vocal. So let's look at what I did to the section A of my track. Okay, so in terms of the A section, let's just have a quick rundown as to what I've done. See, in the drums I've just added some percussion. These are all samples from Loopcloud, and I've just chopped them up to fit the rhythm of the track. So for the piano, I was originally using the Piano V by Arturia, and I actually layered that with this mythical M piano, which is UVI's version of the piano from the Korg M1. I grouped them together and added a bit of saturation using Softube's harmonic. I've got two sound effect channels on the piano. One running tape echoes from Softube, the other running this distortion preset from Infiltrator. So let's listen to the Piano V on its own, and then I'll add the M1, the delay, and the distortion. So the aim here was to make the piano sound less like a natural, real piano, and more like a sample piano, because I felt like it would just fit better with the track and the overall vibe. So I'll put the drums and the bass back in so you can hear it in context. And I'll go back and I'll take the M1 out and the effects. So yeah, to me that just sounded a lot more vibey. So I also added a sample of a talk box that I got from Loopcloud. As you can see, I've just chopped it up a bit so that it fit more with the rhythm of the piano. On its own, it sounds like this. And in the context of the track. And also added a synth line using the Mini V Get Funky preset. Sounds like this. And with everything in context, my A section now sounds like this. Section B is when I really started to get in there with the chord progression, so let's see how that's coming along. For the B section, you can see again I've just added more percussion that I've chopped up and arranged to fit with the track. And using the same chord progression, I added this guitar from Sparkle, sounds like this. I also added a synth part, and as you can see I've just replicated that, playing it through 5 different synths to create a stack. On its own it sounds like this. And with everything in context, the B section sounds like this now. So section C I've decided to use as my breakdown, so let's have a look at how I got along with that. Now, added to my C section was the most simple part. I've just kept the exact same chords I was playing and copied them over to various different synths that I've just layered together. Added some automation to some of them. And for the elongated chords that I was originally playing through the Diva, I've got a couple of them playing these arpeggiators. So we've got this trancey pluck here, for example. And the same chords again, playing through this evening pluck preset. And you can see I've only got layer 3 highlighted, so it sounds kind of like an acoustic guitar. And now let's listen to the whole C section in context. And now as I listen back with fresh ears, I feel like I might want to refine this synth stack for the breakdown chords. I'll do that later. So let's have a look at how we can use Spectralayers One, which comes with Cubase Artist and Cubase Pro, to extract this vocal. So the first thing you want to do when you're extracting a vocal from a track, especially an older track like this one that would have been recorded on tape, and therefore the timing fluctuates ever so slightly throughout the track, is use audio warp just to hard quantize that track so that everything is playing exactly to the metronome. Once you've tightened everything up, with the track selected, go to Extension and then Spectral Layers. As you can see, it analyzes the waveform on a spectral graph. Then I'm just going to click on Layer and Unmix Vocals and just let it do its thing. So now you can see under layers we have 2 layers, one that says vocals and one that just says everything else. Now, given that the version of Spectral Layers that comes with Cubase is a very simplified version of Spectral Layers Pro, there's not a whole lot we can do when it comes to editing, and we are left with a few artifacts, but I don't actually mind that, especially within the context of a track like this. It just gives things a bit of a gritty edge, and once I've added a few effects, it just all adds to the flavor. Well, it does in this particular case anyway. Now I could just play this channel back with the vocals soloed, but our vocal layer can also be dragged into the project, which is what I'm going to do. Now, of course, this song was in a different key to my track. I could fix that using VariAudio, but I'm actually going to use Melodyne. Now, Melodyne doesn't actually come with Cubase. It's a software that you have to buy separately, but it is Aura 2 enabled, which means it works as an extension within Cubase, which is why it appears so perfectly in the bottom panel here. And the reason that I like to do it in Melodyne is that Melodyne actually detects the key. So the first thing I'm going to do is delete any unwanted notes. So things like that, hey, oh yeah, which you can see at the bottom here. And once that's tidied up a bit, I'm just going to click on one of the Gs in this side panel, select Open Scale, hit G Dorian, because that's what my track's in. Highlight all the notes. And then click this button here and snap everything to the scale. You can use these sliders to center everything. And then you can obviously also move around each individual note to either completely change the melody or simply just do what I did and have the melody just fit a little bit better with your track, but with, of course, everything exactly in key. Now, as I was arranging this, I made each section slightly different from the last. So this A2, as you can see, slightly different from this A2, and B sections are slightly different, and these C sections are slightly different each time. And that's just to try and stop things from being so repetitive and boring that listeners might want to tune out. So as you can hear, the mix is all over the place, but if I bring up the mixer, you can see that I haven't actually mixed anything yet. So that's the reason for that. And I think the glaringly obvious thing is that I don't have any transitions or fills or anything like that. So that's what we'll be doing in the next video. Okay, so that's it for now. Now I will put links to all the plugins that I use in the description below. Now some of those links are affiliate links, so if you do want to pick them up at no extra cost to yourself, go ahead and use my link and it will be supporting the channel. Now I also have a Patreon page, so I'll be putting all the stems to this track as well as all the MIDI once it's finished on there. So if you want to go and pick those up, as well as receive things like personalized feedback or even one-to-one lessons, check out the Patreon. Anyway, that's it for now. I've been Craig Lopez. This has been Tutorialism. Now go make some music. Peace.